Hi everybody, it's been a while. Hope you're all doing well. I've been actually having quite a rough time these past months, which is why the channel has been so silent. But I thought I'd do something fun and dust off this run that I wanted to do a commentary on basically since I started this channel, but I always got sidetracked for some reason. But yeah, let's talk about Ketsui. Ketsui is such a big game for Cave and Bullet Hell in general that I've kind of been feeling a little naked without a run of the game on my channel. It's often considered to be the best game that Cave ever put out, together with Tachi Ojo, and the two were developed at around the same time by pretty much the same team. And I think that actually Ojo Black Label was developed at the very same time as Ketsui. There's a lot of similarities that you can see in terms of like tightness of design, formidable difficulty, dark atmosphere, but despite these shared spirits, they are of course very much their own beasts. The thing that characterizes Ketsui for me, and I'm sure it's the same for many others, are the bullet patterns. I remember reading somewhere that for Dodonpachi, Cave went for linear patterns, which means that the individual bullets have a fixed trajectory of movement. With Ketsui, there's no such design restriction, which results in these elastic, almost organic patterns that swirl all around the screen. The bullets gather speed, they move in sine waves like the Medusa heads in Castlevania, they invade your safe spot at the bottom of the screen, and all of this gives the game a very unique feel. The other big standout is how your focus shot locks onto enemies, which ties in with the game's scoring system. Now, I'm not going to go in depth into scoring because, spoilers, I find this game pretty challenging, even when only trying to survive the first loop. But if you're not familiar with the game, the basic idea is that you want to get real close to an enemy and destroy it with your unfocused shots. This gives you a 5 chip. Then you quickly destroy other enemies with your locked on shots, which gives you more 5 chips. And the value of the chip that you start your chain with determines the value of the chips you get with your lock on. So if you're like me and just trying to make it through the game, most of the time you're going to get 1 chip chains, which aren't worth much. Even if you're not playing for score, I think this system nicely hints at how you want to approach the game. Ketsui is hard, and it ramps up the challenge earlier than most cave shmups. It will swarm you with bullets if you don't play aggressively and get up from the bottom of the screen. You really don't want to wait for the enemies to come to you in this one. You want to be the one controlling the playfield. And if you're feeling overwhelmed, keep in mind that you have a pretty small hitbox, so just get into the thick of things. There's no like huge tricks or secret methods to clearing Ketsui. There's 2 hidden extents instead of the usual one, and I'll cover both of them in the commentary. You shouldn't need to work too much for the 2 scoring extents either. Ship selection wise, Ketsui is straightforward. Tiger is a little bit slower, but has a wider shot. Panzer is a little bit faster, but has a narrower shot. There's also a slight difference in lock-on speed, with Tiger being the faster one here. If you're just going for a first one-all, I'd say Tiger is the safer bet. My first couple of clears were done with Tiger, but I wanted to do a commentary of a Panzer runs just because those are a little less common, and because I wanted to challenge myself to play with a slightly riskier ship. The difference really isn't that huge, so just play whichever you want. I feel like Panzer's speed just adds to the fun. This run was done quite a while ago, in August of 2023, and it's the best Ketsui 1-all that I've managed. It's played on the M2 ShotTriggers port on PS4, which naturally comes highly recommended. I hope it can be useful to people who are just getting into the game, trying to get their first 1-all. And with that said, let's get into it. So off we go. As I said in the intro, this is not a scoring run, but as usual I try to do a little scoring at the start of the game, and I haven't really watched any replays to see how you should do it, so this is something that I've just been figuring out for myself. as I've been playing the game, like waiting to destroy these tanks so I can get the 5 chips from this power-up carrier, or the way that you have to kind of alternate between your shots to get the 5 chips from these planes. It's super satisfying to do once you figure out some of these things, and I can see how this can be a hugely deep and engaging score game. So with the mid-boss, what I do is I stay in the center for the first half of the fight, and then when it starts to shoot at me from the sides, I go to the sides, and then I'm in position to get the 5 chips from the tanks, and I get the 5 chips from the mid-boss. Wow, that was an intense explanation. Yeah, for this next section there isn't really a huge plan. I'm still kind of figuring out how to do this optimally to get some chips, and I think I just kind of fly all over the place, so please don't do this the way I do it. There's probably a much safer and like a better way to do it. With these buildings, I really don't know how to get the 5 chips from those, so I just skip them. And here, a very satisfying ending to stage 1. Lots of easy 5 chips. It's super fun stage to play even after like clearing the game a couple of times, and I really appreciate this kind of design where it's engaging from the very start. So with the bosses in this game, I'm not going to do any scoring strats, I'm just trying to destroy them as quickly as possible, just going for survival. So here I just stay in the center and close up to the boss as much as possible. There shouldn't be anything too complicated about this one. I think just once you play it through a couple of times, you should have a kind of a idea of how to do it. By the way, I really love these transitions between the stages, like how Ketsui is like almost one big continuous stage. Really fun thing that Cave did there. So in stage 2, I think the big thing is these helicopters. They keep coming at you from the sides throughout the stage, and I think it's good to kind of watch out for them and try to destroy them as quickly as possible, because I find that they kind of trap you with their aimed shots. I'm not sure if it's just me, but yeah, taking out those gray helicopters is, I feel like, is the key to this stage. And with this boss, I think here the game starts to ramp up the challenge. And honestly, I would say if you're feeling kind of not super secure about this fight, just bomb, because there's a good chance that you might die at the stage 3 mid-boss where you get the hidden extents, so just use your bombs before that if you're not feeling super sure. And here you want to be, like you saw me do that popcorn rush, you want to stay or start it from one side, because depending on how quickly you kill the boss, you might get a lot of popcorn, so you want to have some room to kind of move slowly from one side of the screen to the other. And here again, this last part, watch out for those gray helicopters. Try to catch them as soon as they appear on the screen, and you should have room to kind of maneuver and take care of the popcorn enemies. And yeah, and with these big planes, I just try to again lock on as quickly as possible and do a lot of damage to them right from the get-go. I think with Ketsui you really need to start playing aggressively and going to the enemies to survive. Here again, I just try to advance to the next phase as quickly as possible. So again, I just stay in the center as much as possible, destroying those front wheels or things, whatever they are, to get some bullet cancels, and then getting up close, because then the first phase will end before you need to dodge this attack, which is fun. So the first phase isn't too bad, but second phase gets kind of tricky. Here, do some very small micro dodges, go to the side, and with this attack, this is a really fun to try and dodge, but I just bomb through it because it's way more consistent to do, and again, the stage 3 mid-boss is pretty dangerous, so why not just use some bombs and get through this? Because you might lose your bombs and a life there anyway. My stage 3 is, again, kind of a messy, and I'm flying all over the place because this is me trying to figure out some little bit of scoring while I'm playing. So if it looks like I'm playing pretty wildly here, just going all over the place, it's because I'm experimenting and trying out stuff to figure out like how to get those 5 chip chains. And when these triangle ships appear, just don't move too fast, too quickly, just like very small movements from side to side. Yeah, here you can see me just kind of experimenting with my routes. I don't have a kind of a consistent way, or not consistent, but a usual way of doing it, so I'm just kind of experimenting. And again, it's really fun to have a stage 3 that has this much action, so it keeps the game fresh. So here we get the mid boss, and from this point on you're not allowed to bomb if you want to get the hit and extend, and you want to get it. And you want to destroy the front part of the big ship first, like I do here. Then destroy the back section, the way I do here. And you want to save the turrets for last, because that's the way that you get the extend. And this attack, you just need to save state practice it, because it's even when I'm just looking at the pattern, my brain isn't quite processing what's happening there. But I think you really need to kind of practice it and hone your bullet hell instinct, because then you can see those openings, and you know, like, your hands will know what to do before your brain does. At least that's what's happening to me there. Not that much to say about this kind of latter part of stage 3. I think I'm just trying to survive here, and I think I'm going to bomb soon, yeah, here, because this last part can get pretty messy, pretty chaotic. There's lots of stuff happening, and again, I don't want to lose my bombs at this point, so I just bomb there for safety. I feel like stage 3 boss is a pretty big rise in difficulty. This first attack, you want to go first to the bottom and to the one side, and then slowly move to the other side. Yeah, you can see it here. I go to the right, down, and then slowly move to the left. And that's how you avoid the red bullets. Some micro dodging here. The second part is so difficult, and I kind of mess it up because yeah, I get trapped there and I bomb at the wrong time. Then I need to dodge this stuff, and then I should be, by this point, I should be blowing up the left part of the ship, but then I get trapped again. I do some crazy dodges. Don't do this. I just kind of... That's so funny to me. And this last part is genius design because it looks impossible, but it's really quite easy. I just look at the blue patterns and try to stay close to the blue bullets. Yeah. The first part and the third part were good, but the second part was just all over the place. So the beginning of stage 4 is pretty challenging to me, and the way I found, the consistent way that I found to survive it is just use my unfocused shots. And look out for these gray ships and try to kind of catch them as soon as they appear on the screen. I guess with the lock-on shot it takes a little bit more time or something. So yeah, this way my scoring sucks, but my survival is better. Doing some really risky dodges there. This really isn't dodging without dodging. I hate this bullet pattern because these small blue bullets move sideways, and somehow, I don't know, I guess I suck at moving diagonally, so I often get clipped by them. But yeah, lots of just unfocused shots. And for the mid boss here, you want to have one bomb in stock. So the beginning, not too bad. Then with the second attack, you want to again move to one side and very slowly move to the other side, and then you just avoid all of the attacks. Very fun pattern to do. So here just stay in center, and here is where it gets tricky. There's lots of more bullets on the screen, and this part is where I have a planned bomb because it's honestly pretty difficult to dodge. You don't have much room in the center anymore. So here, when this huge helicopter enemy, this one, appears on the screen, you kind of maybe want to memorize when they appear and from which side, because you again want to lock onto them as quickly as possible and destroy them as quickly as possible, because otherwise you might get overwhelmed by both the big enemy and the small enemies. This is a pretty intense part. You just have to micro dodge it very, very slowly. Do this kind of threading the needle motion. Here again, lots of like very quick, and yeah, this pattern, this sideways pattern, I just hate it, but I managed it here. And again, for this last part, you want to, I'm using the unfocused shot for the, okay, it seems like I got trapped there, and now I'm late for the nightmare enemy. So let's see what happens. It's nice that you get the bullet cancel from destroying the nightmare. Yeah, and this last one can get really, really difficult. So if you have a bomb here, I suggest maybe even bombing, because it can get really crowded with all the enemies and small bullets and stuff. Stage 4 boss, this is kind of a, this is one of the most difficult parts of the game. I think I'm going to die here soon-ish. Yeah, with this pattern, it's just, this is really hard for me to do. I try to go for it, and then I get trapped and I just die. I should have used the bomb there. Don't die with your bombs in stock. So here I'm losing a little confidence, so I think I'm going to bomb through this next pattern, just because I'm like, I don't want to die with 3 bombs in stock. Usually when you bomb once, you can skip this last pattern. Yeah, I got it cancelled because it's pretty hard to dodge, I feel like. This one, again, you, you just need to practice it and hone your bullet hell instincts to find those openings. I don't think there's no like trick to it. This is a super fun attack. Yeah, you have to lock onto the little part at the top. Here you can get into a safe spot. And here, watch out for these blue bullet walls, because they can move kind of erratically and change their direction pretty quickly. And this last attack, I cannot do this without bombing. I've seen people doing it. You just need to kind of, keep moving, but somehow I always get trapped by some kind of bullet. So I bomb, and then I realize that the boss didn't die, so I just bomb again, because I'm like, I don't feel like dying here. So now I begin stage 5 without any bombs. Let's see how I do. So here at the beginning I do my safe strat of not using the lock-on shot, just using the unfocused one to survive this enemy rush. And now when the big plane appears on the screen, you really need to practice this section, because it's very, very easy to get trapped here, and the way that I move is very deliberate here. Then you get these buildings that shoot these blue bullets, and these can trap you easily. Again, one of those trapper enemies. But the trick with them is that you kind of have to just keep moving into one direction slowly, and then the bullets will go past you. I think they're kind of aimed at not at your position, but slightly to your side or something. We'll see me do it again soonish. And here, just catching those round tanks as soon as they appear. And yeah, we have this building here, and I'm just moving very, very slowly to the side, and then you can get past those bullets. And soon we'll get to the part where you can get the second hidden extent of the game, and it's you get the enemy Tiger helicopter appearing on the screen here. You need to destroy it without using any bombs, and then soon we'll get an enemy Panzer helicopter, and again you need to destroy it without using bombs, and then you should get a 1-up. Yeah. And I've heard from other people that sometimes the Panzer can like fly away without giving you the extent, which sounds super annoying, but I don't think I have ever had it happen to me. This is a pretty involved boss, so the way I do it is I lock on both to the center and the side and just kind of keep on shooting at the side to get a bullet cancel at a very specific moment. I think it's like right here. Yeah. And then the boss will very soon advance to the next phase, which is super intense. And if I had a bomb here, I would have just bombed because I don't have a consistent way of doing it. It's again just kind of, it's hard to kind of explain why I move the way I do. It's all happening like unconsciously. Maybe that's the fun of this game. It's kind of it's very bullet hell in the sense that I'm not always kind of even. Well, obviously I'm looking at the screen all the time. I'm processing what's happening, but it's just kind of it's happening at some kind of, I don't know, back part of my brain, which tells me what to do even when I don't know why I should do it. Doing some unfocused action, and then we approach the very famous descent. And here what you want to do is you want to follow the bullet patterns of the big enemies. They kind of make this a U or V shape patterns, like those red bullets. And you kind of, yeah, you can see me going from side to side, slightly up, slightly down. You just need to follow the patterns. And with this huge nightmare enemy, I honestly get a little lucky because I always bomb here. But that was just luck, me surviving that fight. And again, following the red patterns here. This is a very fun section. You need to go down because the enemies appear from below. Here I use the unfocused shot because I feel, again, it's slightly quicker. And this is a super intense section right here. I stay at this left side, destroy some of the round tanks, then I very quickly move to the right and then try to return to the left. But here I get trapped, ultimately die. This is a pretty tricky section. I don't have a kind of a solid strategy for this. I try not to move too much because then I feel like the blue bullets don't crowd the screen too much. With this attack, you again, if you play Donpachi Dai Ojo, you may recognize it from the stage 5 boss. You don't want to move too much when that stuff's happening. So the Panzer Rush is probably the hardest single segment of any of the stages. And here I just bomb, but it's okay because I think you can do it pretty easily with just one bomb. Then just need to be careful here, not to get clipped by the final turrets. We're at the final boss. Yay. This one has some pretty crazy patterns. Like this one, you kind of want to move in this kind of circle pattern, just kind of go from one side and to the other one. But because I have some bombs and I don't want to die with bombs in stock, I just bomb. Always bomb when in doubt if you have lots of bombs. Here I try to stay in the center as much as possible. And this is a very tricky pattern for me, and I think I die here, yeah. So So with this one, I try to macro dodge the red patterns first and then micro the last one. But you can go around the first two ones. Here again, I bomb for safety because I'm not very good at doing that attack. Here you need to follow the patterns of the bullets. Kind of they form this middle path that you can take between the patterns. You need to follow that one. Here again, going around the first two red patterns, then going through the last pattern. And we're at the end, and since I have 2 bombs left, I'm going to just bomb because I've never had a run this clean of the game where I had 3 whole extents at the end of the final boss. So yeah. That's Ketsui. It's honestly kind of a difficult game to do a commentary on because I feel like my runs aren't quite as consistent as with some other games because you need to play more aggressively with Ketsui, and I honestly feel like there's a lot of bullets at the screen, lots of small bullets at the screen, in the screen at all times. And it's harder to do like a consistent route, like with, let's say, the Tachi Ojo or so. And with this run, I did some experimental play also, where I tried to figure out how to score, like in stage 3 and stuff. So it has a lot of wild playing, which isn't necessarily. It looks cool, isn't necessarily super good. Like I've been thinking about those. I can't remember or I guess it was Clover Tack who said when he's looking at players who are doing like amazing dodges, he thinks that they're not very good. Because if you're good, you're not doing a lot of wild dodging all of the time because it's very dangerous, very risky. But I feel like, yeah, it makes for an entertaining run, if nothing else. So yeah, I hope this run was fun to watch. I hope maybe it can help someone with their first one all. And yeah, it was fun to do a commentary on. So thanks for watching, enjoy Ketsui, and see you soon.